Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this session. This is Meet the Experts for Indian Market as part of the Knowledge Hub for MIHAS 2025. My name is Sharmiza Zakaria. I am Trade Commissioner for MATRADE Mumbai. I was based in Mumbai for the last 4 months here in this market. For today, our discussion will be the topic will be navigating India, unlocking niche market for halal products and services. So basically, the discussion today we will talk about how companies that can access this knowledge hub, especially Malaysian companies and other companies, can enter the Indian market by discussing the key areas of on the market access, the rules and regulation, what are the important things that they need to do in order to understand and to study the market further. And this will be deliberated by our panelists today that I will introduce you in a short while. So basically today, on this topic, we are very happy to have three esteemed panelists. When I review their um, profile, all of them have nearly 20 years of experience in their respective field. And let me start with the first panelist, Siti Nona Hatun Awantua. She's the assistant to commissioner, basically my assistant in Mumbai, and but she was here earlier than me. I think she's been here about more than 2 years already in the market. But overall, she has dedicated about nearly 20 years with MATRADE, and she has gained lots of experience in, especially in the exporters development, particularly in the MSME development as well as mid-tier companies development program. Last time, I was also part of the MTCDP program, and we learned a lot in terms of how we can educate as well as assist our companies to go abroad using a strategic tool as well as a very structured program. And she was also experienced in others such as championing market access and business linkages. And she was also involved in several flagship events such as in trade way back for the last, I think last nearly 15 years ago, KL International Trade Forum or KLITF, as well as MIHAS. So basically, she has been in Indian market and she has some experience that we will tap further later in this session to guide the companies how to enter the Indian market. And we are also happy to have two esteemed panelists from Reliance Retail. Just basic information about Reliance Retail. Reliance Retail, later I think our panelists will explain further about them, but Reliance Retail established in 2006 as a subsidiaries under Reliance Industries Limited, and they are the largest retailer in India and rank among the fastest growing retailers in the world. With about nearly 350 million customers across all platforms, and they are very strong in online and offline, and now we call it omni-channels. And I think I saw the report last year alone. They have about nearly 1.4 billion transaction by all these customers. And as I mentioned just now, they have both online and offline channels, and offline channels, physical channels here in India, such as Fresh Signature, Fresh Pick, Smart Superstore, Smart Bazaar, 7-Eleven. And while for online channels, they have Agio, Jomat, Netmeds, Tira, Reliance Detail, and many more. So I think later they will explain further on each and every channels or market segment that the companies can join or penetrate. And roughly for last year alone, it was reported, Reliance Retail reported gross revenue of nearly 40 billion US dollars for financial year 2024-25. And some numbers, they have nearly 20,000 stores with retail area over 77 million square feet. And Reliance Retail has been one of the key buyers for MIHAS since last year. They have become a premium buyer, and they have been sourcing for Malaysian products from our market. And finally, their interest is more on processed food, which is roughly chocolate, confectionery, biscuit, snack, pasta and noodles, sauce, personal care, and household item. All these are FMCG items. So with that kind of introduction, I think let's start the discussion. But I think by first, I would like to ask my assistant, Miss Nafatun, since you were here longer than me, maybe you can explain or elaborate on the current market updates for especially for halal products and services in India, and how do you observe um, this market in terms of suitability for our Malaysian companies to enter this market. Please welcome Ms. Nafatun.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Mr. Shahrul Miza, our Trade Commissioner for MATRADE Mumbai. And again, hello again to our esteemed speakers from Reliance Retail, Mr. Saikat and also Ms. Antika. I also look forward to hearing insights shared by you later. So everyone knows that India is one of the fastest growing consumer markets in the world, right? But there's a niche sector that most are overlooking. So that is halal products and services. So Malaysia is not just a participant in this space, but we are also a global leader, to be frank. And I think the frame for our discussions today will be emphasizing just that, why partnering with Malaysia means getting ahead of the curve. But let me just start by clearing the air first. When people hear about the word halal, the first thing that comes to mind is religion. But the truth is, halal is not just about religion. It is really much it's really about standards per se. So standards that guarantees safety, standards that guarantees hygiene, standards that guarantees trust, and also ethical sourcing as well. So, and in today's world, those standards matter more than ever. If you think about it, like consumers pay a premium for labels like organic and vegan. So it's not because of faith, but because it promises transparency. It also promises quality, and halal is standard promises integrity as well. That is no different. It is a seal. Halal is a seal of assurance for many consumers. When a product is halal certified, it tells the consumers that this is safe, that this is clean, and this is ethical. That is actually a value that every Indian consumer can relate to, regardless of religion. So just let me give you the numbers, right? The global halal economy is worth over 2.5 trillion US dollars in 2023. So this amount is projected to hit about 3.5 trillion US dollars by 2030, or even more, considering that the halal market is vastly expanding. So now here's where Malaysia comes in. We're not just in the halal business. We literally built the ecosystem. Our certification JAKIM is recognized globally. Our companies that are exporting are mostly halal certified. They export halal certified food, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, logistics, even tourism solutions, including the hospitality industry as well. Not just to Muslim majority countries, but also to global markets like the Americas, Europe, and Japan. Because halal today is not a niche; it is actually a multi-billion-dollar lifestyle economy as well. So herein lies the opportunity for India, with over 200 million Muslims and also one of the fastest growing middle classes in the world. The demand for halal certified products and services is rising. So Malaysia knows this. This is not just about the Muslim market. In fact, it's not just about the Muslim market. It's about the Indian consumers who are also looking for safer medicines, for cleaner cosmetics, for transparent logistics and supply chain. So this is where Malaysian expertise can bridge the gap. So when we talk about the potential for Malaysian products and services in India, we look at it this way, right? India itself is a scale market with precision niches, and Malaysia brings both to the table. We don't just have products; we also build trust. We build trust in terms of proper documentation, audited and halal certified supply at volume. So in terms of opportunities, first you look at food and ingredients. yes, even though our offerings go beyond halal food and beverages, but look at the food and ingredients first. India is one of the world's largest edible oil importers. Palm oil is the backbone, and Malaysia is a proven partner. So between November and July of this year, India pulled in roughly about eight and a half tons of palm oil. So see, that's your signal. We have specialty bakery fats, our offerings such as confectionery inputs and also RSPO plus halal blends that are already ready to plug into the Indian market. The other potential that we look at is also in the health and wellness industry. India's pharma market is about 50 billion US dollars, with over the counter products valued at about 10 billion US dollars. That is an immense market for in India for Malaysian products that happen. That is itself is an express lane for halal grade excipients. We're talking about also soft gel manufacturing, vitamins and minerals, clean topical formulations. If, for example, if your formulation needs compliant gelatin free or certified alternative, we have that and we've done that. We have the paperwork. Then, if you look at, for example, like beauty products, India's beauty market is roughly about 20 billion US dollars. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Saket, maybe you have a different figures for this. But halal cosmetics specifically are worth about close to 2 billion US dollars and are also trending upwards as well. Platforms like Nika and Tira, and also we have platforms under under Reliance Retail like Geomart and also Reliance Smart Bazaar. They also offer these halal FMCG goods as well. They are racing to onboard ethical but premium brands. These are brands that Malaysia offers can offer to the Indian market. Malaysia brings to the table halal certified skincare for color, hair, and fragrances, basically halal FMCG items, and we pair it with bulletproof traceability. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier on, we the documentation is something that we also put in place. That brings about to the system that we have put in place, because after all, certification is a product by itself. Muslim consumers spend on halal categories that will be close to about 2.5 trillion US dollars. So this value keeps growing year after year. So Indian manufacturers and retailers, they want assurance in terms of like the ingredients screening, the segregated logistics. Now Malaysia can supply this service layer where Jakim can link their expertise with with Indian companies, and this. So basically, here's a play, right? Malaysia, if you match Malaysia's halal credibility with India's channel velocity, you can win listings by providing certified inputs, reliable lead times, and compliance that makes the buyer's life easy. So if you're looking at detailing other products and services that with opportunities in India, with looking at us also products, parts or components that are manufactured from environmentally friendly output, looking at sustainable building and construction of building and building materials here in India. We talk about, I spoke earlier about halal FMCG products and eco-friendly building materials. So the opportunities is actually immense.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Nafatul. Yeah, I think from what you have elaborated earlier, if I'm a company, then India offers huge opportunities for many things, not just F&B, but also non-F&B products that you mentioned about pharmaceutical, building materials, even some services, for example. So it is interesting to note that. But okay, let us go to Reliance Retail. I think before we ask Mr. Saikat and Ms. Antika to elaborate further in terms of the market segmentation. Maybe just a quick one. Mr. Saikat and Ms. Antika, both of them have more than 20 years experience in the retail industries, and you have been very experienced in FMCG. For example, FMCG is a huge sector that offers variety of products from F&B as well as consumer goods, household items, and so forth. And Mr. Saikat, looking at his credential, he has also accumulated more than 9 years of experience in the hospitality. That's another big segment that also big potential, especially in the business development, F&B management, client servicing, you name it, because hospitality and catering caters not just for the single, but also to the huge crowd of people, and it needs a different skill set of management. And for Miss Antika, I think looking at, I can summarize her credential is she's expert in the retail strategies and development. And both of us, Miss Nafata, we have been in MTCDP. We need, this kind of personality that can assist the company to strategize, especially to enter the retail sector. I mean, they cannot simply enter and hit and run and try and error. They need to have a clear path and clear plan, strategies, to understand the market, to do the, for example, consumer behavior analytics, to do sales planning and forecasting. These are the things that should be, considered by the companies to enter a complex and huge market like India. So, okay, Mr. Saikat and Ms. Antika, maybe you can, after I introduced the retail, Reliance Retail earlier, you can also elaborate further about Reliance Retail for the benefit of our viewers here. And then next, you can also go into what are the segments. I know you have been in various segments, but what are the key segments that Reliance Retail is tackling in India? Please, Mr. Saikat.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sharul. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for us to be a part of MIHAS. And I'm sure this conversation of ours will reach a lot of participants of yours who are wanting to get into Indian market and wanting to know from us, the Reliance's perspective, that what we think about the Indian market and what opportunities we do have together between the Malaysian companies and Indian company. To large extent, we represent Reliance. So what opportunities we do have in Reliance. So whereas I'll request my colleague, Ms. Antika Kohli, to show certain slides. Meanwhile, I want to take this opportunity again to thank all of you to invite us to this and then give us the opportunity to express ourselves and give our viewpoints, where we can come together, right? So I think the slides are on, and we quickly take you through what Reliance is all about, so that you understand that what significance Reliance Retail has in Indian retail market, and then you can take your bet that going forward, what can be the opportunities ahead. So this is largely the Indian grocery market outlook, what looks like. The overall retail market is around $1.25 billion. In fact, trillion dollars of retail market, what we have. And as far as Reliance Retail is concerned, it is going to be among the modern retail part, going to be 28 to 30% of this market. And where we end this particular decade by 2030, Reliance Retail will become almost 50% of Indian modern trade, which is going to be a huge, huge market. So whereas our share in the modern trade is going to be double, which is like 23 to 24%, it is going to be 48 to 49%, which is half of entire India's modern trade, what is there as a business. So our consumer base is 300 million. As we can see, our per capita income is 2.5x of the average per capita income. In PPP terms, it is close to 16,540 USD. And the modern trade size of India is the entire market size, what is there in Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, and Singapore put together. so you can understand how big this market is and what significance Reliance Retail has in this such a huge market. So this is a small little slide where we engage with our customers in our retail stores, where we have found out that each and every customer spends close to 45 to 60 minutes inside the store. And why we're mentioning this data? So that whosoever comes on board with us, we give them this opportunity to display their products, to express their products in such a manner inside the store, so that the penetration of this product gets into to our customers. And with such a huge customer base of like a few minutes back, we were hearing that it's almost 1.4 billion bills are cut every year on Reliance Retail's floor. And then if each and every customer spends around 45 minutes to 60 minutes on the floor, you can understand that how much space your product gets into our store. So this is our formats. We are genetically omni-channel. So our formats are large format stores, which are called Smart Bazaar. We have more than 900 stores there. There is a format called Smart Point. The numbers is 2,300. So typically 2,000 to 2,500 square feet stores. We have the national franchisee for 7-Eleven stores in our country, which is there in your country as well. We have another format called Fresh Signature, which is now named as Go Fresh. We have 105 of those. These are typically small format stores, but little premium. We have Fresh Pick as a format. We just have around 3. We are growing in this particular format going ahead. And these are really upmarket, modern retail formats, what we have. As part of our omni-channel strategy, we are present through our GeoMart format in more than 6,000 zip codes and through our milk basket format in 27 cities. So as Reliance, as we were being mentioned, that we are a $193 billion of company in terms of market cap. And in terms of revenue, it is $119 billion with $9 billion of profit after tax. By far, this is the largest company in India and the largest retailer in this country as well. So we have interest in digital services, media and entertainment, oil and chemicals, oil and gas, other than retail. So Reliance Retail, it is the foremost retailer in the country, by far the largest. We have already mentioned that. So our presence is there in grocery, in consumer electronics, in fashion, lifestyle. So we are basically there in food, in clothing, in jewelry, in footwear, in every possible segment of a person's life. So it's not only the grocery retail, but we are present in all kind of retailing formats in the country, and we have a very, very strong track record in terms of growth. As I already mentioned, that we are going to be double of what our current market share is. And by 2030, we will become 50% of entire country's modern retail trade. So we are, of course, a globally acclaimed company. So for past 24 to 25 years, we are among the Fortune 500 companies, and we are the fastest growing retailer in the world as well. I mean, our number speaks for itself. So as you can see, in terms of ranking, we have moved to number 53 in terms of ranking in 2023. This is an old number. But having said that, as we spoke, as we are speaking now, we have already broken the barrier of being one of the top 50 retailers in the world. So as we have already spoken of all our formats, this is just to make the segmentation pretty clear that how the segmentations are. We have made a pyramid here. As we speak, Fresh Pick is the most premium one. The next phase is Go Fresh and Milk Basket. Milk Basket is an online platform, a subscription model, and Go Fresh is once again a notch below Fresh Pick, but a premium format as well. Smart Bazaar, Smart Point, and GeoMart. GeoMart is online, and Smart Bazaar and Smart Point are offline retail. And Metro Wholesale, or the cash and carry also, the India business is picked up by us. So, which largely delivers or caters to the general trade. So I think this is very brief about the company. I will leave it on to Sharul to ask any question to any one of us about whatever we have just now mentioned. It is about a brief idea what the company is and what segmentation of retailing we have in the country and as part of Reliance as a group. So I will first give it back to Sharul to ask further questions to us. Antika is here, so basis your question, any one of us is free to answer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Saikat, for a very interesting presentation about Reliance Retail. So definitely, you guys are very huge and have omni channels, multiple channels that you can penetrate. I try to illustrate myself as a company that would like to be your potential suppliers to you. So the question would be, I think either you or Ms. Antika can answer, is I saw just now that there are many, the pyramid of segmentation. So if I'm new to this market, to Indian market, my question would be which segment that is suitable for my products, and who should I not say who, but which segment that is the most popular, that if I want to sell a generic consumer product, I want to hit the huge mass market. So which segment that is suitable for me to enter. Yeah, I think let's start from there. Yeah.
Shanti.
Right. So, Mr. Sharul Mirza, we basically have a lot of portfolios of formats, as you have just seen. And each of them has its own unique set of customer base. So, coming from where you are suggesting which product can really make it huge, a very very well known example is their Maltese biscuits, which has made so big as a market share in India in no time at all. And on similar lines, biscuits, cream crackers, and crackers as a biscuit segment altogether has captured that middle segment of mass market. We have a lot of stores within the smart bazaar format, within the smart point format, which are the neighborhood supermarket stores, both in value segment, for customers who are seeking a value proposition, and we do a very good discounting on these products. So we are a discounter format when it comes to smart bazaars. That's the right segment where a lot of your products actually fit. But at the same time, we should not disregard or ignore the niche segment as well, which our Fresh Pick and Go Fresh, as well as the higher end stores of certain smart bazaars are catering to. So there, a lot of your products which are going to be coming from not just green crackers, but also all of your culinaries, all of your instant ready to cook kind of range is going to make a lot of difference when it enters the market.
So the best part, Mr. Sharul, is that we are present in all 29 states of India, right? So, stating across north, south, east, and west, and the middle part of the country, Reliance retail formats are present everywhere. And just now, as I showed you, that we are present in more than 6,000 zip codes. That's also across the country. So India is a very diverse country, as as you are already aware. So in terms of the people divided in number of religions, what we have, the number of languages we speak, the kind of clothes we wear, the kind of food we eat. I think everything is so very diverse. I'll just give you an example. In India, we speak more than 730 languages, right? And in terms of languages which are there in terms of government bodies, wherever the official work happens. So there more than 24 languages are kind of used everywhere. If you look at our currency note, you can see all the languages are mentioned there as well. So in such a diverse country, the opportunity is for every kind of company of Malaysia, large or small, every kind of product, be it a biscuits and chocolates, what Miss Andika was saying, or even the cuisine sauces, or the noodles, or the pastas, the kind of food you eat. See, like if you go to the northeastern part of the country, the food habits are very similar to what people generally consume in Thailand or Malaysia or Burma. And if you go to northern part of India, there people eat more of wheat. You go to the eastern part or the southern part of the country, people eat a lot of rice-based articles. So it is so diverse, and so if you find the Malaysian companies, the way they produce the food items there, you have your rice-based products, you have your noodle-based product, and India has got market of everything. And we from Reliance's side, as because we are present in every corner of the country, the opportunity of every kind of Malaysian product, every type of Malaysian companies have got huge opportunity in anywhere, in any parts of India. So if some of your product is not applicable in northern part of the country, rest assured it is applicable in southern part of the country or eastern part of the country. If some product is not acceptable in the eastern part of the country, you can be rest assured that it is acceptable in the western part of the country. So the country is so huge with 1.4 billion people, with diverse cultural activities, diverse languages and religious beliefs and behaviors. There is something for everyone. That is the only thing I can say.
Thank you, Mr. Saikat and Ms. Antika. I think uh, it is very enlightening in terms of huge potential and diversity of the market, because India is very huge, and you correctly say that the northern part has different taste preferences compared with southern part, eastern and western. Another question on the market segmentation, from your perspective or your point of view, how do you see the emergence of online channels, the behavior of the consumer compared with the offline channels? Is it do they have is it online channels is getting more prominent, or both channels have respective, how to say, not followers, but target market or the segment that we can penetrate? What do you think of that?
So online has always been a very high potential segment in India. There are two reasons to it. First of all, India has got largest penetration of 5G uh, uh, in terms of populace. I mean, as you understand, our company Reliance has spread 5G across the country. So as we have gone ahead with our retail, we have installed 5G in terms of telephonic technology and internet services across the country. So any corner of the country you go, you will be having geo internet services and at 5G speed across the country. And we have done that at the fastest possible way. So that makes it very clear. So that's the kind of infrastructure we have created in the country. So that's almost like a super highway of technology, as you know. So you go to a small village, in the first entry point of India in Arunachal Pradesh, in the northeastern part of the country, and you go to the southern tip of the country in Rameshwaram, right, where the speed of the internet is very similar, the access to the information is very similar, the understanding and the knowledge of the product is very similar, the access to whatever is happening in the world in terms of product, in terms of technology, in terms of new things, what is coming in terms of politics, in terms of sports. So I think as far as the interest generation is concerned, it is there across the country. Number two, post COVID, right? It has gone to the next level in the country in terms of both internet speed, and in terms of accessibility, in terms of the knowledge of the product, like any of the cuisines. Like today, if any small girl in a village of India wants to understand of a Malaysian cuisine, of any of the nasi gorengs of the world or anything, whatever is possible, they are absolutely aware that what are the ingredients, what is required to make this particular dish, and where they should get it. So, in terms of accessibility and the interest generation, online has become such big that it is across the country. And as you could see, that we are already present in 6,000 zip codes, and the number is only going to get doubled in next couple of years' time. And so, online is not only big in India. Reliance, as a group, has been instrumental in spreading that online platforms across the country. We have our own GeoMart, who which supplies more than 20,000 SKUs. We have Milk Basket, which is a subscription model. So, in terms of product and accessibility, both are there, and the overall ecosystem in the country, in terms of online platforms, which is beyond Reliance, is also growing at a very, very high speed. And the interoperability has also grown a lot. So I think the way offline retail has grown across the country in last couple of decades, online channels has grown in an exponential manner in last 5 years time, and it is only going to grow. So initially, what we thought that online as a channel, if we consider that as a channel, it will not cross beyond 10% in retail. But as we speak, it has already reached 15%, which is the best in the world. So if you go to US also, it has still not crossed 12%. The offline retail is still around 87, 88%. Whereas in India, we always thought it will remain below 10%, but it is already reaching around 15%, which is a huge, huge opportunity. And nobody knows that what's going to happen in next 5 to 10 years, whether this penetration will go above 25 to 30% or not. This is just our guess. But having said that, every company, every retailer, be it omni-channel or non-omni-channel, everybody is trying to get their hand on an online platform to make it really, really big. Antika, if you want to add anything more to it.
Yes, of course. Thank you. So we also, of course, are seeing a burgeoning, demography change which is happening. So around 60% of our population is in the working age group from 15 years to 60 years of age, which is a mind-boggling 950 million. And then we are talking of the Gen Alpha, which in the next 5 years is also going to get into this same crowd, which is able to procure, able to buy products off the shelves, which is another 25% of the human population, which is equivalent to 350 million, right? And all this being said, while our urban population also is somewhere around 542 million, and when they have the access to internet as high speed as our Geo 5G, we of course see a lot of consumption growing in this segment. And with the online sales, of course, growing with so many new incumbents, new startups, there's of course more opportunity growing for brands which are coming from abroad, because the CAGR for packaged processed foods in India today stands at 11.1%. And this is going to continuously keep growing with this population, which is working at with a median of 28 years of age. And, getting to acquire more products, be explorative, try innovative things on shelves, which are available online and offline. We definitely have a lot of opportunity for imported goods, especially halal goods from Malaysia, and they are forming a base in India already as we speak.
I think that's fantastic point, Antika. I strongly support that particular point. India is the youngest country at a median age of 28 years among all the large economies, right? And as per the experts, India's population is only going to recede post 2050. So next 25 years is going to be very, very exciting. And if you go by our Prime Minister vision that by 2047, India wants to become the developed country. And that is the way every single thing in the country is being explored. So be it infrastructure, and I'm not only talking about the physical infrastructure, but the digital infrastructure as well, where Reliance plays a big part. And with the digital infrastructure, both our physical format and online format in retail is growing at a very, very high rate. And in grocery only, we add close to 25 to 30 billion dollars of business every year. So with that kind of a speed, that kind of a scale, I think we are at a very, very enviable space. And what I said in my first conversation, that there is something for everyone in terms of Malaysian companies, and that holds very, very true.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Saikat. I think to sum up this segment, the discussion on the segmentation, I think the opportunities are huge. And then there are, as you correctly said, there are something for everybody that if you sell anything, try to sell anything to India, then you should find the right niche for your products and or maybe on the services. So I think that will be the key learning points for this segment. Okay, maybe we can move on to the next segment on the market entry. Assuming that, again, I'm a company and I have identified which segment that I can penetrate. So now I want to bring my products into India. I'll go back to Ms. Nafatun. On maybe you can, as you are as Assistant Trade Commissioner here in MATRADE Mumbai, and what can you advise any company that would like to enter into this market? What are the market requirements? What are the things that they need to prepare before selling the products to India?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cheryl. So from my engagements, right, with the Malaysian companies they find India is a very attractive market. So, for example, to relate to what Mr. Saikat and Ms. Ankita mentioned earlier about the expanding, online commerce in India, I think with the improved lead time for delivery, with regards to, for example, quick commerce, a lot of products get delivered to the end consumer pretty fast with the with innovations and technologies that enables this particular delivery. But like again, even though India is a high potential market, it's a very attractive market for Malaysian exporters, but it is also a highly regulated one. Malaysian exporters must understand the compliance landscape of India before actually stepping in the waters. Because, for example, like for food and beverage, with all imported food products must be registered under the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. We call it FSSAI for short. So importers usually handle this, but exporters must also supply detailed ingredients lists to support to support completing the information that is required to get the certification beforehand. So then we also talk about labeling and packaging. Mandatory. If you go into the Indian market, you will find out that it is mandatory for importing companies to have that green dot that signifies vegetarian, and brown dot that signifies for non-vegetarian food ingredients. Those symbols must be on these packagings. You also, the Malaysian companies must also ensure that shelf life and expiry dates must be printed very clearly on the packaging. So relatively no sticker labels are allowed, but you do see some of those in the market. But the advice I usually give to Malaysian companies is that you have to work closely with your Indian partner to make sure that you fulfill all these requirements. You also need to have, as part of labeling, you also need to have your importer's name and their FSSAI license number. It must be on the package as well. I've also had some questions from Malaysian companies asking if Halal certification is a legal requirement. So the answer to that would actually be a no. But having a JAKIM certification from Malaysia. It adds to the credibility of Malaysian products and of Malaysian food products and beverage coming into India, because then it will have more access to other types of consumers here, not only in India but also in the South Asian region as well. Then we talk about the requirements for pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals. The Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, CDSCO, which is the National Regulatory Authority of India, they really govern the imports of pharma and medical devices. So imported products require prior approval, and exporters must share these technical dossiers with the importers as well. You cannot run away from having these certifications and standards being applied to your products and services. You need to have them before you come to India. And also your nutraceuticals, if you produce them, I'm interested to bring them to India, because there's a high demand for that. They also fall under FSSAI regulation. It requires all ingredients and formulation to be properly declared and also be properly labeled. Gelatin-free capsules and halal certified capsules are also in growing demand to meet with vegetarian-based consumers. So they see the green dot off the shelf, they just take it. So when you look at, for example, cosmetics and personal care, imports must be registered with the CDSCO Cosmetics Division as well. Labels, as usual, it's very important. It must declare the ingredients, it must declare batch numbers, it must declare the manufacturing and expiry dates very clearly on every single packaging. Alcohol-based products here actually face some sort of the scrutiny. So like halal, so then therefore it gives paves way for halal certification on products. It's seen as a clean label advantage for some of these. When you talk about the services industry, tourism, IT solutions, hospitality, and the HoReCa sector, the services industry is less regulated, with exception to the HoReCa sector, because you also need to have FSSAI regulations on that one. But in general, the services industry in India is less regulated. But again, success here requires local partnerships. For example, like halal logistic providers, they must comply with regulations set for Indian warehousing, the cold chain logistics, the transport regulations. Malaysian companies must depend on the local partner to advise, and goes vice versa as well. When it comes to tourism, for example, Malaysian halal travel packages, that's also in growing demand as well. We have noticed that by collaborating with Indian companies and Indian agencies, they must also comply with the India's Ministry of Tourism licensing regulations as well. So the practical reality is this, right? The import procedures in India can be lengthy, but if you take that, when we're talking about like clearance times at ports and paperwork, sometimes the paperwork can take weeks to complete. So that's why you need to have the right partner who knows the network, the ins and outs of these meeting these regulations and compliance to these standards. So this is why we always advise Malaysian companies to work closely with them, with a reliable Indian importer distributor, to work closely with reliable Indian companies like Reliance Retail, who already knows the compliance process as well. So I think I know I'm reiterating the same thing, but basically, in short, paperwork is lengthy. Approvals may be slow, but if you have the right partner, the process really is manageable. And this is the feedback that we get from Malaysian companies that has come to us, seek an advice, and also share their insights after doing business with companies in India as well. But like I said, like once you're in, you gain access to one of the world's largest consumer base.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nafatun. Thank you, Ms. Nafatun. I think it's very enriching because your perspective covers variety of issues and challenges that being normally faced by machine company, and how they navigate it to enter the market. And I think not just India, but also other markets as well, having the same issues. And it's not really an easy kind of market entry. But I'm going to go to the Reliance Retail on the entry requirements. To get their own perspective. Um, how was the requirements in terms of bringing your products into the Indian market? How Reliance Retail always address these issues with your respective importers or sellers?
So this will be requiring to add to what Ms. Nafatun has already said. So as Reliance Retail's grocery business is concerned, we also work through any of the Indian import partners, just the way the Malaysian export partners do. So in these cases, what we always suggest that there is a non-government organization which is called FIFI, which is Forum of Indian Food Importers. I think Ms. Nafatun must be knowing them. So they have a gamut of Indian importers who are under one umbrella. And as far as Reliance Retail is concerned, they and along with that, so many other retailers, they work very closely with them so that all the issues what any of the exporters they generally face in terms of regulations, those gets cleared off. FIFI also have a number of consultants who are working under their umbrella who also help a lot because they are one of those bodies who are extremely enthusiastic, just like us, to get products from across the world. So I think we can assure you one part that be it Reliance Retail or be it FIFI, you have your friends here, and in case you face any trouble in entering into Indian market, we as retailer and FIFI, I don't speak on behalf of them, but as because we have been working very closely, I can tell you that they're extremely supportive whenever an exporter wants to take an entry into the Indian market.
Shantika, you want to add on any other things related to this market entry requirements?
No, I think Cycle has already elaborated on the role of, FIFI, which they have been doing of late and for so many years, and even better now. So it's the same way how we also approach. There's no difference in whatever Sir has just mentioned. So yes, we already have our own base of importers as well, whom we are consistently working with. Few of them already importing from Malaysia, and we definitely can look at how those portfolios can be grown. At the same time, we are open to any of the importers which you suggest, which your manufacturing partners are okay with and have probably spoken or discussed about with the Indian counterparts of their own.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Santika, for value adding the discussion on the market entry requirements. Maybe we can move on to the next segment. Then again, if I'm a company and I understand now what are the segment I can enter and what are the market entry requirements I need to follow or adhere to. And the next challenge will be I would like to learn on I don't want to repeat the mistakes done by other companies that try to enter India and being unsuccessful. So we're going to talk about this segment. We're going to talk about common issues, challenges, things faced by the companies to enter the Indian market. I'll start with Ms. Nafatun. How do you see, in your point of view, common issues, challenges faced by the companies, especially our exporters, to enter the Indian market? Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. Cheryl. So, from what I've known, based on my engagement with the Malaysian exporters so far, the common issues and challenges are, we do have quite a number of few, but the main ones will relate to documentations and also the partners that they have chosen for their business endeavor. So, because let's be honest, Malaysia, we have the products, but when it comes to India, right? Most of our exporters, they often underestimate the complexity of actually doing business here in India. it's basically just need to fulfill those basic requirements of providing accurate declaration for the application of the license and also for the certifications. You need to have you need to engage with your potential partners first to make sure that that's when you will find out whether that is the right partner for your products, and also for you when you finally make headways into the market. um we when we talk about, for example, meeting regulatory complexity and delays, right? For example, FSSAI approvals for food, they can take months if the paperwork isn't airtight. So that needs to be done from the get-go. Customs clearance is, to be honest, very strict, and we're not just talking about clearance to the main port, because you have the state customs and also the Indian customs itself. So you need to have proper documentations that matches your products that you are declaring for entry into India. So if these incomplete documentation, they will lead to demurrage costs at Indian ports. And that is not cheap, because as it is, the cost is already expensive, but you're also paying for the 18% GST tax that goes with it as well. For example, like pharmaceutical and cosmetics, again, like I mentioned before, they require CDSCO approval. That can be a barrier for smaller companies, smaller exporters. They might have what it takes. They might have the products that are attractive enough to be in the market, but sometimes getting this approval can be really challenging for these type of companies as well. Then you have price sensitivity. We cannot deny this. This not only happens in India, but also other countries as well. Like Indian consumers, they are very value conscious. So where there's demand for premium products, exporters often misprice by benchmarking them against Middle East markets or other or the Chinese in the Chinese market. So India, pricing your products in India, it requires a competitive packaging, maybe smaller SKUs to meet the relevant demands according to the regions in India, because India is a really huge country. So it also needs to have a cost-effective pricing in order for your product to make it in India. Now, I would like to relate this to what Mr. Saikat mentioned earlier, which is very accurate. When it comes to market diversity, right? Just because it's in India, you cannot expect, like in northern India, you will get the same feedback in southern India. For example, we need to realize that India is not a homogeneous market. Like North India, they prefer wheat-based, spice-heavy products. Spice-heavy products. But then you go to South India, like what Mr. Saket mentioned just now, they are more rice-based. They like milder flavors. And then West India, like Maharashtra, where MATRADE Mumbai is based in, and also states like Gujarat, for example, we have the demand is for vegetarian products mostly. So exporters who ignore these intrinsic differences, they will fail to capture traction when they finally reach the Indian market. And also, again, mentioning what I spoke about earlier on in terms of distribution and identifying partnership, they do bring with us comes to us with partnership issues. But you see, success in India is very much partner driven. Exporters sometimes rely on the wrong distributors, then they have limited networks. So this causes delay and also poor market penetration. So I think those are some of the challenges that I can share with you, Mr. Sharo.
Thank you, Bishan Fatun. It's very broad challenges that covers many aspects of, a typical company that would like to export. These are the common challenges that, and it's not really something different from other markets. I want to ask from Reliance Retail perspective, when you deal with Malaysian company, maybe there are a few things that you observe. What are the things that or challenges that, for example, again, if I'm talking to you as a company that would like to sell to you, what are the things that not hindering, but I mean, maybe become obstacle or hurdle for me to be a good or reliable supplier to you, to Reliance Retail, people like you? How do you see it, Mr. Saikat?
I think what Ms. Nafatun was saying, I think where it causes the problem or makes a difference in understanding is less knowledge or poor knowledge about the Indian market. So I would suggest for any Malaysian company who wants to enter in Indian market, just get them 1 month's India tourist visa, right? Come to India, visit different cities, pick and choose a couple of A category cities, a couple of B category cities, couple of C category cities, visit retail stores, uh, look at people, eat food, look at how things are, moving around, wearing stuff or eating food, and then you can understand that what this market is all about. I'm not saying that 1 month is good enough, more the merrier, but at least a month, and that is the cheapest way possible to do the market study. So instead of giving to an agency or giving it to anyone else, it best that you send your trusted person to India, make him or her stay in a hotel, not a five-star hotel, right? Make him or her stay in a hotel which is a couple of notch below, so that they can understand that what real India is all about. And if they can cover various parts of the country, maybe 1 week in north, 1 week in south, 1 week in east, and 1 week in west, that way if they move, I think they will get a fair understanding of what India is all about. That is number one. And number two is very important to get a trusted partner. And as I said, that to get a trusted partner, it's it's easiest to go to someone in Fifi. Go to the forum of Indian food importers people, right? They're nice people. They're not only the friends of the retail industry, but they're the friends of the exporters as well. They will suggest the right partner for you. They choose the right partner for you so that they don't misguide you. They suggest you properly. They get you a proper consultant of all the regulations. They tell you that what kind of price point will work in Indian market, what kind of packaging will work in Indian market, what kind of pack size will work in Indian market. And after that only, with your involved and informed decisions, you can then take the next step. So you take views of the market directly, you can take a view of the consultant, you take view of Fifi, you take views of the retailer, compare all the studies, put together, then you come to a decision. I think until and unless you have those informed decision, then you probably will not get the success you want in Indian market. You need to get all the views. You just think that you will speak to Reliance Retail and you know everything about the Indian market. That's not going to happen. You have to speak to each and every one. And please devote a month in Indian market, because this is too big a market to be left out. But once you get a grip of this market, it becomes much easier, and your next 5, 10, 15 years is sorted. That's the only point I can make. Antika, if you want to add something.
Yeah. What I can already add to what Surya said is, yes, the product selection, of course, is a very important key factor. So when you will see the trends in India, like Sir has already mentioned rightfully, that if you haven't touched the pulse of the country, of the nation, of the zeitgeist, you wouldn't know what is happening. So the go and see really works over there. Someone has to be a spectator to what's trending in the country and then move forward in that direction. So if you will launch something which is definitely off track and is not in the same sync of the trend, it's not going to get the results that you are anticipating. So in order to get your desired results, you need to go to the right people, and Sir has suggested enough and more of those. At the same time, not just the product selection, but also the pricing, like Ms. Nakatun has already mentioned, that we Indians are value seekers. So a majority and a mass of our consumption happens with the value seeking mentality. And therefore, products which happen to be in this band of the median price point and have a value for money in terms of per grammage price point being cheaper than the rest of it, it definitely stands a chance to be more successful. So, both the product itself, in terms of whether it's in the same line as what is trending, along with the pricing strategy that you have adopted for it, the regions where you want to distribute them, whether those are resonant of the demand which is at present there in that territory. These are, I think, the three key important factors, and having a trusted partner is on top of it all. To have somebody whom you can rely with, eyes closed, that's something which is very important in getting into a market which you yourself have not been a part of before.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Saikat and Ms. Antika. I think I'm really amazed because it was a really practical kind of advice based on your vast experience in the market. And I think um, w- uh, I think the word that we can describe is to do, we call it market immersion. You have to immerse in the market because India is a huge market and you cannot understand by coming like one day or few days in the market. You have to be, as you correctly said, at least 1 month. I have to be everywhere in India, not just come to one city or one area. And you have to look at the multiple tiers of the cities. Okay, I think we are coming to the final part of our discussion today. Just to sum up or to to get your final words, I think I start with Ms. Nafatun. What are your final advice to our companies or our viewers here in this Meet the Expert session on how they should navigate the Indian market in order to unlock the niche areas for halal product and services?
Thank you, TC. Okay, the thing is, I completely agree with whatever that's been discussed and deliberated by Mr. Saikat and also Ms. Ankita a while ago. Mr. Saikat mentioned about Malaysian companies to work together with PP. At MATRADE Mumbai, we have also introduced several Malaysian companies to PP as well, and they have greatly benefited from that engagement with PP. PP has been sharing relevant and very useful insights to these Malaysian companies with regards to their making inroads into India. And it's not just in the Maharashtra state, but also other states as well that are relevant to the company's no, marketing plan. And also, if I could advise, right, also from Malaysian companies to do their homework about India. Yes, we're talking about like immersing the company's representative here in Indian market. It could be 1 month, it could be more than that. It could be in select months of the year just to get the feel of what sort of consumers that they are dealing with, just to get a feel of their retail pattern, what is the right distribution channel, what is the right retail distribution channel, for example. So I think my key message to our Malaysian exporters heading into MIHAS is basically don't treat MIHAS as just another international trade exhibition, and don't just treat this whole experience as one that you have done before and then it's very very similar. It could be in a way different for your company as well, but treat it as a springboard into India's halal economy. Here at MATRADE Mumbai, our hope is that Malaysian exporters, they can leverage MIHAS for building concrete relationships with Indian giants like Reliance Retail as well, and also regional distributors. Also, our hope is for Malaysian exporters to position themselves not just as suppliers but also as business partners who can add value to India's growing halal lifestyle economy. And more importantly, Malaysian companies should also leverage MIHAS by showcasing that their halal certified products and services as a standard of trust, safety, and quality that Indian consumers are increasingly seeking. That is why halal certified products are actually winning consumers' trust. And we're talking from London to Miami to Tokyo to Dubai to Jakarta, and now India has the chance to be part of that growth story. And I'll be very direct here as well when it comes to halal. Malaysia, we don't play catch up. We are not a follower. We literally set the benchmark through platforms like this, like MIHAS. We basically are the global leader in this sector. So my aspiration, and also I think I share the same aspiration for MATRADE as a whole, that we see for MIHAS, we see Malaysian companies with the hope of them walking away not just with brochures, the samples exchange, but also with contracts signed with Indian companies that are participating in MIHAS, either physically or virtually as well, but because that would be the measure of real success. Again, India's halal market, right? It's not a question of if, it's literally a question of who will lead it. So Malaysia is there to offer our products and services, and we know that is in demand by the Indian consumers. Then we intend for Malaysian exporters to be the ones to always be leading this industry here in India. So that's it from me.
Right, thanks, Ms. Nafatul. If I'm a company, I feel very inspired to hear your advice, because it's really something practical that if I'm a company, I'll take note of a lot of things that I need to learn, and try to get prepared, and leverage on MIHAS as the world halal largest trade shows, that as a platform as a springboard to penetrate every market, especially India. Last question to Mr. Saikat and Ms. Antika. What's your final words and your hopes to see the exporters or exhibitors in MIHAS 2025? Since you'll be coming to MIHAS as our premium buyer, so what's your hope and your advice, to our companies?
No, so my advice to the Malaysian companies is that I can understand that India is a complicated country. As all of us have discussed in today's webinar, that India is not one country, it's 29 countries. It is a country, 29 countries with 700 plus languages. Having said that, India is a great country to do business. With whatever said and done, with all the complexities that we are a value-seeking country and all of that, India is the second largest market for Apple phones, which is not known as one of the cheapest phones in the world. India is one of the largest markets for Microsoft. India is one of the largest market for Google. So I think, as far as world corporations are concerned, they are doing great business in India, and the number of office spaces they are signing across India is mind-boggling. Right? Every day we get to hear that in Delhi or Bombay or Chennai or Hyderabad or Bangalore, large offices are getting signed by all large corporations, be it Amazon, be it Google, be it Spotify, be it anyone. So it's a value-seeking country, but at the same time, the country attaches value to a particular product if they are hooked on it, right? So if your product is good, if the product has got quality, the Indians are ready to pay price for that. But it's very important for the companies to convince the customers in India that your product is value. Your product attracts a particular value. So there is no fixed rule that I have to sell my product the cheapest. But my advice is that if you have great value at a great price, where the customer feels that the product probably is of value X, and you give that product at X by 2 value, I think that's the best possible placement of your product in India. So we are value seeking, but we also give value to a particular product which has got quality. So nothing to compromise on the quality. So I don't want to get the producers confused on cheap product and value added product. I think this part has to be absolutely clear.
Ms. Antika, you have any final words?
Yes, indeed. So we know that India is going to very soon be a $5 trillion economy. We are already at a good 4.5 trillion, and very soon this is going to reach a five. What we are is the third largest economy in the world, and like sir has rightfully said that there are so many big conglomerates internationally who have the biggest consumption markets in India today for their products and services. So in the same line, innovation is something that we as Indians definitely seek in what we consume. It can be your product, it can be your service, and we look forward to definitely having great quality in anything that is coming from abroad, and with an added innovation factor to that, with new tech, it's going to definitely enhance your chances of making it very successful with the staggering growths that India is experiencing and will continue to do that for the next 5 years. So that's the market opportunity for you available.
Now, I just want to commend the Malaysian companies, especially the food companies, because we are a grocery retailer, so it goes without saying that we will talk a lot about food. Malaysian companies make great food at a very convenient pricing. I think keep doing that great job, and if you continue to do that great job and take the Indian customers on board, there is no reason where your product will not be successful in Indian market. That's the only point I want to make.
All right, thank you. It's really a perfect ending, I think, from you, Mr. Saikat, and thank you, Ms. Antika and Ms. Nafatun. I think that sums up really our discussion for today on the topic of navigating Indian market to unlock niche areas or niche markets on the halal and product and services. Basically, to summarize our discussion, I think I will share here at least three key takeaways. That's normal thing that I do normally when I moderate a session. Just to recap the main points of our discussion. Number one is to for our companies to identify and dive into the Indian markets, as all three of you has elaborated in detail based on product suitability, market suitability, which are the channels that they need to enter, either omni-channel, online or offline. And I think I want to quote one from you, Mr. Saikat, get the pulse. I think from Antika, get the pulse of the Indian market by coming here, not just a few days, but also to understand, coming in the longer period of time, understand the reality of the markets, the consumer behavior, what are the purchasing behavior, and where they shop, where they buy, and so forth. That's number one. Number two, to understand the market entry requirements, we discuss in depth in this. What are the rules and regulation is similar to what you want to enter other countries as well. Each and every countries have their own rules and regulation. We need to understand that. What are the authorities you need to register, or you need to talk to in terms of getting your markets in getting your products into the market. What are also documentations, because I think as Ms. Nafata mentioned earlier, that one of the key challenges for Malaysian exporter is about documentation, and that delays the product entry, or maybe some of their product may be stuck in the port or somewhere else that cannot enter the market due to all this not really adhere to the regulation, to the local regulations. And number three, the key points is to overcome the challenges. I think I can summarize like the companies need to be persistent, need to be resilient, and they need to understand the market, and at the same time, as Mr. Saikat said just now, we have been producer of a very high quality products, as well as providing quality services at a very good price. So we need to keep doing that. And by the way, to try to suit our product to the requirements of the market. And in particular, in India, you need to not to sell everything in India, but also try to find the right niche market, and hit it at the right footing to enter the Indian market. And I hope all the companies that watch this meet the experts here can come and meet our buyers at MIHAS 2025. We're gonna have about nearly 30 buyers from South Indian market, including India, Nepal, even Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and there are a lot of all these buyers from this region, and all these buyers have demand for Malaysian product and services. And finally, if you have any inquiries to understand the market further, we cannot cover everything in this 1 hour plus of the broadcast, but you can always contact MATRADE officers. We have two, one in Mumbai, headed by me and Ms. Nafatun, and we also have one in Chennai that covers South India, South and Southeast of Indian market, of an Indian region that have, as Mr. Saikat said, have a different taste preferences, demography, and characteristics. So please write to us to inquire further. And finally, I would like to record sincere appreciation to Ms. Nafatun as a panelist, as well as Mr. Saikat and Ms. Antika as our esteemed panelists from Reliance Retail, who will be premium buyer for upcoming MIHAS 2025. And hope you will have a very good outing this year in MIHAS 2025. And we wish you all the best. And I think, and my final words will be, all the best, everyone, for MIHAS 2025. And we hope everybody will have a good show, good meetings, and a fruitful outcome. With that, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.